The new Fire Emblem Engage is an amazing game with deep battle mechanics, but don't worry, I've got you covered with this battle guide made for first-time Fire Emblem fans and veterans alike. What's going on, everyone? It's Abdallah here, bringing you guys a battle guide for the new game Fire Emblem Engage. Now, if you guys are first-time Fire Emblem fans, welcome to it. Please don't be intimidated by this game. It's actually very, very simple to play. And for those of you guys that are veterans, there are some new mechanics in the game that you'll definitely want to master before jumping headfirst into the game. Yes, the game has some tutorials, but there are some things that they don't necessarily tell you. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and thanks so much for hitting that subscribe button. We are doing a giveaway of a Nintendo Switch OLED at 950,000, and we're almost there. So make sure you guys head over to that link and enter our giveaway. Let's kick this guide off with teaching you guys the overview of what exactly the battle system is for Fire Emblem. Now, if you take a look at this game, it's pretty much a gigantic chessboard when you think about it. And you have all your different pawns and your queen and whatnot against all of everyone else's. The entire thing is going to be based off of a grid. Now, if you take a look over here, you're going to be able to move squares onto there. You'll be able to see enemy movement in blue and enemies' attack range in red. And likewise with all of your characters over here on where they can go. So for example, this gameplay over here is around Chapter 8. You're going to get a lot of characters in the game, so don't worry about who these characters are or what they do. If you're interested in that, watch the playthrough that I'm doing. Anyway, it's a gigantic map over here, and you'll be able to see all the different enemies that are floating on. It's a giant game of rock, paper, scissors, if you think about it. If you take a look in the lower corner over here, this is pretty much the entire weapons triangle, and learning this is a great way of mastering Fire Emblem. As you can see over here, it does a little bit of a red, green, blue coloration, where swords beat axes, axes beat lances, and lances beat swords. If you guys play Pokemon, one of my favorite ways of learning this is fire, water, grass, right? You got red, which is fire, and it beats grass. Grass, which is green, and then it beats the blue lance, and then of course, water, being blue, beats the fire. That's one way of remembering it. Now, what's interesting about this game is that if you have a martial art, which is going to be another weapon category, you'll see a couple characters use it from the very beginning of the game. It deals super effective damage to anyone with daggers, arrows, and of course the tomes. So keep that in mind. Alright, so right off the bat, when you're about to start a battle after all the cutscenes in the game, you'll definitely want to click on swap spaces right over here so that you can get a better bird's eye view and prepare yourself for this battle. I'll show you guys exactly what's going on with this battle so that you understand and can do this along with me. And of course, I'm going to make it simplified and give you guys some tips in case you guys are veterans on what's new and exciting in the game. Alright, anyway, you can see over here that there's going to be tons of different enemies on board, and if you zoom in a little bit more, you can see exactly what they're carrying. This guy over here is carrying a dagger with the little dagger icon over this way. This one's a mage. This one right over here is an axe, and you can pretty much look at every single one of them. Here's a sword person. Here is here's a lance. So when it comes to battling, you do want to match up your specific character that has the weapons that are strong against them. Neutral is fine, and going at a disadvantage is not always the best case, especially if you're playing on classic mode, where if your unit dies in the game, it's absolutely done for the rest of the game. But anyway, let's move on to that. Okay, so now that you've kind of taken a look over here, what I like to do at the very beginning of the game is go into swap spaces mode and then just really take a look at the lay of the land. You'll be able to see that there are indeed walls that are impassable. So if you take a look at your little character right over this way, he can't go through the wall, right? Sometimes there's going to be passable terrain that a flyer can pretty much fly over, such as a river or some other little bushes. That's why flyers are really, really good for movement. So you'll get some flyers within the game, and you can customize that a little bit later. So anyway, take a look at the terrain, take a look at these characters. Now what I also like to do is I like to hover over one character over here and then take a look at exactly what they're doing. Now I remove myself from the layout so you can see exactly what kind of enemy they are. On the bottom corner it says that he's holding a steel axe. What I like to do is I like to press the L button or the R button to cycle through and see exactly what they have. This mage right over here is carrying the tome Wind, and if you're ever curious as to what these things are, you can press the X button, and the X button is pretty much a help that tells you, oh, hey, heads up, this is what this means. If you guys don't know what a mage is, if you don't know what a mystical is, if you don't know what HP is, or magic attack, speed, avoid, hit, defense, resistance, if you don't know what any of those things are, by all means, they teach you that by pressing the X button. Now, yeah, it's just basic RPG stuff. Now, learning that this character has wind over here, that's very eye-opening. Had I not paid attention to that, wind is actually super effective against flyers. So, of course, I don't want to go anywhere near that guy on enemy phase if I have a flyer. That's going to completely destroy me, so watch out. Anyway, let's cycle through all these and we'll make some notable ones. Here's a Steel Dagger. Steel Dagger is attack 1 to 2 range. You can see that just based off of his movements on the red attack spaces. You can see right over here, this one's got a Steel Sword, Steel Axe, pretty basic stuff. This person has a tome called L Surge. It's a magic tome that only attacks one space in front of you, but it's very powerful. So keep that in mind. You could probably attack that one with a ranged character. Anyway, moving on over here, there's a Steel Lance. We got Steel Sword over here, Steel Dagger, Lances, Steel Hand Art. Really nothing else as I'm scrolling through all these different characters over here. Here's a golden one. This one will actually drop some currency if you ever see a gold skirmish on the map. That's one of the ways of grinding money in the game. But you can also see that he does have a tomahawk, which is an axe that gets attacked from 1 to 2 range, and he also has a steel axe, so he might switch that up in battle. Anyway, scrolling through over here, we've pretty much seen everyone on board. So now that you've gone through and seen what is exactly on the map over this way, now it's time to prepare. All right, so let's take a look. Now we've taken a look at all of their items. We want to know, okay, flyer is not going to go over this way and just pretty much go anywhere else. Now what we want to do is essentially take a look at our unit selection. Now one of the things is Fire Emblem has a lot of characters. This, like I said, is Chapter 8. These are all the characters up to there. And there's a lot of classes that may overlap, so don't get too tied to a single character. You may be wanting to raise them all, but you may get someone that's going to power creep it and be better later on. It's up to you guys how you raise your characters, but you're only allowed to bring a certain number per match. You can see over here that this one is really only 8. With these guys, you'll notice that a flyer is pretty great as far as movement goes. We can bring an armored unit, which has really, really high defense, so we'll bring him on board. Any of these mages you can bring on board, like this one, Saline over here. You can bring your healer, of course. You're going to need a healer on board. Bringing an archer is always helpful. I love bringing an archer. And then, of course, bringing more mages and then your main character here. So there's a lot of things that you want to consider. So as you pay attention to the entire map, you'll then know, oh, hey, there's a lot of flyers here. Maybe I should bring an archer, or vice versa. If there's a lot of armored units, maybe bring a lot of mages. Just learning the types of characters you're going to bring to the map is going to be the best. Or you could just bring the same 8 characters every time and have a good time with it. Anyway, other than that, we've got something called Emblem Rings. Those of you guys that are veterans, this is going to be a new gameplay mechanic. Emblem Rings, a little bit later on, you're going to get rings that offer you assistance from Fire Emblem heroes of past. Marth, Celica, you get Sigurd, you've got Leaf, you got Roy, Micaiah. There's 12 in total, and like I said earlier, this is around Chapter 8, so this is how many you get right around that spot. Now, the great thing about this is you can have any character wield literally any weapon, which is great if you use the Engage attack, and I'll show you guys that in battle. So, like example, like Alir, which is the main character over here, doesn't necessarily have any healing, but if you pair up Micaiah with Alir, then you can use healing whenever you're engaged with it, which is super fun. Same thing goes with any kind of attacking things. If you're a sword person and you want to use any kind of axes, you can do that. If you're a healer, you can attack. So any character can literally wield any weapon that belongs to those characters there. So using the emblem rings and then really focusing on their bond every time you attack with it is going to make it even stronger. And you'll then be able to get different bond effects. So for example, since I'm level 1 with Sigurd over here, I really only have these abilities. But if I keep on using it, I'll be able to get Lance Power 1, which is a passive skill. I'll get Momentum. I'll get hit plus 15, skill inheritance, and explains exactly what these things are in the little detail section. So you guys can take a look at that and learn what you want to give that character passively. So right over here, you can see that all of my characters have some of their emblems on board, which is super great. Celica is bonded right over this way. We've got Marth also bonded. Yeah, we've got a lot of our characters all set and ready to go, which is fine. So honestly, we're all good to go right over here. So those are the emblem rings. Awesome. Now, keeping in mind that not every character can get an emblem ring, because obviously I've got 8 characters over here. So what are we going to do about their rings? Now, you can get some backup rings, which are based off of using an in-game currency. And then this just literally boosts your stats by 1 or 2. Valbar A specifically gives +1, what is this? Yeah, defense. It gives +1 strength, and it also gives +2 HP. If you got good enough, or you were lucky enough to get the gold version of it. Some of them, level C's over here, just really give +1 to a certain stat. So anyone that doesn't have an emblem ring can get one of these bond rings, which is like an extra one in case you want a little bit more of a boost on your character. So make sure that everyone has rings available that complement their sets. Easy peasy. Great. Emblem rings, already done. Let's go over inventory really quick. Make sure that all of your characters, if they're able to hold a sword, make sure they have the best items over here. So we've got Alir on board. We'll notice that Alir is probably one of my only sword people on board. So we'll see over here that we've got a sword called Wo Dao. I mean, it might come in handy, and I have 2 empty spots over here. So go ahead and fill it up right over there. Done. Same thing, just go to every one of your characters and make sure they have the stuff on board. So really fun, easy. Here's my mage, he's got all of his other things. You can also click on optimize equipment, and then by optimizing, it'll automatically grab anything that is actually really, really good for them. So yeah, feel free to do that if you guys want to. Optimize equipment, boom, boom, you're all set. Okay, so make sure that they have everything that they need in order to be ready to go. If they don't have everything, you can click on Marketplace, and you can literally go to the armory, and you can buy any kind of weapon that's available to you at that specific time in the game. And as you play a little bit longer on and unlock different chapters, you'll be able to get better selections of better weapons. Armor slayers, javelins, axes, everything is available over here. So that is if you have the money to pay for it. Anyway, so that's all about inventory. You are all set and ready to go. So now we're taking a look at swapping spaces. And what we really want to do is just make sure that we're set up for success over here. We got a red guy over here, so that means my blue person can come on over and attack that one. Likewise, if we see over here, this one's an armored unit with 0 resistance. What'll be really good for that is if we bring our mage right on board here to completely destroy that armored guy. Right over here is another armored one, so we can easily do that damage. Here comes a daggered character, so don't really worry about that. We saw earlier that this one has L wind, so I gotta watch out, or it's got wind, so I gotta watch out for my flyer. Right over this way, we have an art user, 2 art users, we can knock them out. Right over here is another armored person, so we can literally use any one of these abilities. I got my mage over here that can completely light up that guy. Right over this way, we do have a green axe user, which of course a Lear sword user can easily go and then counter. And we're pretty much all set with our characters. You can press the A button to kind of swap wherever you want them. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, we're all set and ready to go. Let's actually do this battle together and see what happens. So that's about 15 minutes of exploring and explaining the game of what the basics are. Of course, now there's a lot more things that you can do, such as learning a lot about an individual character and how to min-max their stats. As you can see, every character has a specific skill. For example, Lewis right over here has the skill called Admiration. If 2 female allies are adjacent within 2 spaces, this unit takes 2 less damage during combat. So, that being said, with him, I like to pair him up with the ladies, right? Here comes Fram, and here comes Saline. So I want to make sure that these 3 are kind of near each other. Likewise, if you take a look over here, some of these guys have different abilities. The kid is like the villager. This is Gene the villager, where he has like aptitude, which is super cool. Some of our other characters have some different abilities, so pay attention to their abilities and then use them accordingly with those skills. All right, here we go. Enough talk. Let's jump into the battle, and I'll show you guys exactly what's happening over here. All right, so click on fight. We're going to start. Done. I'm playing on normal classic, meaning that if any of my characters lose in the battle, then we're done. But of course, there is something called the time crystal. It allows you to go back in time and retry that specific turn. Of course, we just started right over here, so we don't necessarily have to use that. But keep in mind, even if you are playing on Classic, you can do that. So it's kind of a little cheat if you want to think about it. Anyway, case in point, let's take a look at this. Right over here, we can fight this way. My archer has an item called the longbow, +2 with a little emblem over here. I'll explain that in another video on how to make your characters even more powerful. But anyway, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to fire at that one right over that way. So here we go. We're going to do this. I'm going to attack, and boom. So you'll notice over here that I'm going to do 21 damage to it. If you saw that there wasn't any kind of animations, that's easy. You can go over here to System. You can go over to Settings, and then you could turn combat animations off. You know, it's fun and it's exciting when the game first comes out, but later on, you really want to just go through these things, and you don't necessarily want to watch the same animations over and over again. So I do combat animations off, engagement off, game speed fast, and all of that other stuff, just so that we're all on the same page. Okay, easy peasy. What we're going to do right now is we're going to come right over this way. I am going to attack this one with a steel lance. We're going to be able to see the forecast over here. The forecast shows that I'm going to do 34 damage, which is going to be 19 at first. And he only has 12 HP, so I can just knock him out. Done. Easy peasy. Great. Done, done. All right, so since I have an ability that allows me to hit and run, I can move 2 turns after that. Cool. So now, as you can see over here, what's going to happen is all these characters are going to come at me. If you zoom out over here, you can kind of see. If you press the A button, you can lock on to where the damage is at, where they're going to be able to hit you from. So we're set. Not really that big of a deal. I can take a hit, which is fine. All right, so right over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bait out my sword character because I can take a hit from over here. Not that big of a deal. I'm going to do the exact same thing over this way. I'm going to come over this way, and I'm just going to attack this guy, which is perfectly fine. I've got an Iron Lance. I'm going to do 9 damage, and he's going to do 1 damage. So really, nothing. Okay, that's perfectly fine. What I want to do over this way is, since I'm engaged with Micaiah, Micaiah offers an attacking staff, which is awesome, or an attacking book. What I could do then is turn my healer into a mage for 3 turns. Now that's going to be what the brand new mechanics are, is engaging with characters. Like I said earlier, what happens is you're able to just jump in and really do work against anyone. This guy is a healer who has no sword experience whatsoever. Since I have him bonded with Marth, I'm just going to click on engage, and then now I can attack with a sword of the rapier or the Mercurius. Mercurius is great because it doubles the user's experience every time you get a KO. So I'm going to go ahead and use that right over here. And as you can see, I'm going to do 27 damage on his 26 HP. It's going to be super easy and just knock him out. Done, done. So now, as you can see, that number 3 over there, I only have 3 turns of the engagement, then it's done. We are out. So anyway, I got my healer over this way. This one's he's a fighter, so I don't necessarily want to deal with him. So I'm going to come over this way, and we're going to be all set and ready to go there. All right, so I do want to back up my healer, or sorry, I want to back up my helper right over this way. So we're just going to wait. We're going to see what happens. So now it's enemy phase. The enemies are going to come over here. They're going to go within their movement, and they're essentially going to hit us all, and we're going to counterattack them. And as you can see, we're playing it really, really quick. We're getting experience. We're leveling up. Leveling up is going to be pretty easy, and it's going to be random +1s on every stat based off of an individual's growth rates. So we're all set here. That person did 15 damage from afar because it had a javelin, and that was not that fun. So we took a lot of damage with that. Right over here, Alir is going to be super strong. Alir can take on literally anyone because that's the main character, and I've been really pumping her up with as much damage as possible. She's so strong with her weaponry. So anyway, coming on over here, we can see that now my my flyer is in dire need of some help, which is okay. I'm fine with that. We're going to come over here. I can fire at these guys. I think that my longbow does the work. It's 26 damage, which is perfect. So, yeah, or I could do steel bow. Yeah, honestly, it doesn't even matter. Here we go. I'm knocking out this guy because he's got the wind tome that we were kind of worried about. So, we'll be all set. Really, really not a problem. Okay, so anyway, here we go with this one.
I'm getting hungry.
I'm getting actually really hurt over here, so I may need to heal. I'm going to come this way, and we're going to wait. This guy is a healer, so we can come over and heal. So can Micaiah, which is awesome. Yeah, we'll actually see what we want to do over here. Taking a look at this, Iron Lance and Javelin doesn't secure the KO, but this might. So let's take a look. All right, so taking a look at this way, we can actually see our attack doesn't really do that much damage. As you can see, I only do 8 damage to it, and then it leaves him with about 18 health left. But if we were to double team this, I think we'll be all set and ready to go. So let's take a look at that. Yep, that's easy. Boom. So I can do 1 hit over here. He's not going to do any damage because I have so much defense. And then what we're going to do over here is we're just going to do the exact same thing of attacking, and we'll be all set. Boom. Oh, that's actually really good. Yeah, that's a good idea. Boom. Check that out. So I did 6 damage with it, and it really knocked him out with these two on board. Really cool teammate. All right, so over here is going to be pretty interesting. We got a dagger user, of course. Throwing my healer, my frail mage in that spot is probably a bad idea. But coming on over this way is going to be really, really easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to equip the rapier. I'm going to attack this one. I think I should be all set. Ooh, you know what? If I wanted to use my special, which is called Lodestar Rush, I can do a lot more damage, but Mercurius is actually the better one. Interesting. I can secure the hit with Mercurius versus the rapier, which is not as strong, but it's super effective against the guy behind him. So I think I'm just going to do this. Lodestar Rush on this, which pokes him X amount of times, and then boom, I'm all set. So now I'm ready to go right over this way. I'm out of harm's way for this person waiting on a heal, which is perfectly fine. These 3 are coming at me over that way, so I'm probably going to bait out with, with this character right over this way. And I'm just going to wait. Just going to wait that way, and we're going to come over here. This is kind of kind of in harm's way, but you know what I can do? What's really awesome is since I'm engaged with Micaiah here, I can actually do some interesting work. I'm engaged with Celica over here. Celica has the ability to use Warp Ragnarok. So if I click on that, I can warp to any tile in the game and then just completely obliterate someone. So here we go. As you can see, this is the Gold Corrupted. I'm going to do 36 damage to it. And it's a great way of just warping anywhere and taking someone out of a tight spot. So by doing that, you're only allowed to do your special move once within those 3 turns. So I did Lodestar Rush, I did the Warp Ragnarok, we're done with that. So now, unfortunately, we're going to come over here into this spot, and the person that's going to attack us are going to be 2 dagger users. This dagger user and maybe a mage. I don't know, man. I may need to do something about that. I'm not really a fan. I'm not a fan of how exposed my bow person is, but she can take a hit, I trust. So here we go. That person threw a javelin. This person's hitting us with 6 damage right up front. A very strong armored unit. We're going to see who's going to do the hits. Ooh, wow, that's 14 damage. Yikes. Oh, dude, I got KO'd. Okay, so this is perfectly fine. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So in case you get one of your units KO'd because of carelessness, like I was over there, what you can do is, I meant to do this because I want to show you the time crystal. Anyway, what you can do is go over here, go all the way back, boom, 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 to when you actually attacked with people. So Chloe's over here. We began our player phase. That's it. So now we're going to go back in time, right? So since I found out that my person over here did not do so hot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to potentially wait right over here instead. I don't really have an opportunity to do anything else. If I stand right here in a bush, I could potentially dodge the attacks, which are coming at me inevitably. But of course, a lot more characters are going to be able to attack me. 3 of them specifically. Don't like to see that. So anyway, we're going to rethink our strategy over this way. This one, only maybe 2 characters are going to be able to attack us. If we take a look right over this way, we can do the exact same thing as we were doing before. We could do Warp Ragnarok. We can essentially like hit through all of these characters. I don't necessarily want to yet. These 2, we're doing their double team attack, which is perfectly fine. We're going to do Iron Lance, and we're just going to like redo stuff. But it just shows you that, you know, if you're not paying attention to the map, you can actually go back in time and use the tome in order to take care of that. So easy peasy. If you guys want to play like on a really hard mode where you don't use that tome, then feel free to do that. Anyway, Lodestar Rush is going to happen right over here. We're going to use that with the Mercurius. Done. Okay, just like we said before. Awesome. I warp Ragnarok all the way over there, which is pretty interesting. But if I come over here, I could potentially like attack and KO some of these people, so that my archer isn't going to be in any specific danger, right? So you can pick and choose what you want to end up doing. And for this, I think I'm actually pretty good. Yeah, my defense is great, and my speed is pretty good too. I got 17 speed, so I'm not going to get doubled. So how about we do this? How about I come on over and I attack this guy without using Warp Ragnarok? I can use Engage. Oh, that's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, I can use Engage. We can use something called Echo. Actually, that wouldn't be too good. Oh, yeah, that would actually be really good. Check this out. We're going to use Echo, and what that does is it allows me to attack twice, which is so good. Ooh, man, that'd be really fun if I was in a spot to be able to knock out 2 of these guys. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to use the Echo. I'm going to do 1 attack and half damage, which is right over here on that guy. Knocked him out, super simply. And then we're going to do the second attack right over here, which is going to be another Seraphim. Awesome. So unfortunately, we're probably going to take 6 damage. Oh, we got the miss. Perfect. So that was a better use of our time. As you can see over here, these are our characters and how we're going to be playing it. So let's redo that 1 turn like we did over there, and let's see what happens. So we just got broken over here, which is going to be one of the brand new mechanics, those of you guys that are Fire Emblem veterans. Holy moly, that hurt. Wow, dude. So this guy got a hit on my archer, which is perfectly fine, whatever. Oof. Got 2 hits on her right over this way, but we did survive because she didn't take a 3rd additional hit. We're fine. All right, anyway, so taking a look over here, the concept of breaking is when you get hit by something from a super effective move, you're going to be defenseless and you can't counterattack, which is pretty interesting. So I'm going to come right over here. We're going to attack with the rapier right this way. It's a super effective weapon that will break him. You can see over here that I do 25 and then 12. It breaks him so he can't counterattack me with 13. Awesome. Right there. Broke him and he can't counterattack. I really only had 7 HP left, so if he did counterattack, I would have been done. And you can see that I'm just out of harm's way by hanging out over here with low health. Super easy. All right. So now we really have to play this game of being a little bit careful because we have units that are probably going to get owned. I got a mage right over here. We're just going to blow up this guy really quick with 11 damage. That's exactly how much HP he had. And we got the level up. Super easy. Look at that. That's a +5 level up. That's really good. We got a lot of stats off of that. And like I said earlier, it's random based off of different things, different growth rates. The cool thing about Micaiah, which is going to be an emblem ring, is that you can come over this way and then you could do something called Great Sacrifice. And this is going to be perfect for us. Watch. Great Sacrifice on our last turn allows us to literally heal every single one of our characters, but brings Micaiah down to, or sorry, brings our one character paired up with Micaiah down to 1 HP. So pretty risky, but it's like an instant level up every time you use it. So always, always use that. So remember, we were low health hiding out over here. We were low health there. We were low health here. And now we're at full health, which is amazing. So anyway, we've got a lot of things that we're going to be doing this way. I've got a mage over this way. If I bring my mage over here, I can stand next to some other people. I don't necessarily have to use Warp Ragnarok. I can use an attack. Like Seraphim right over here and knock this guy out in 1 hit. Boom, done, 37. Easy peasy, love that. All right, we do have our main character right over this way. we can absolutely take a hit right over here, which is perfectly fine. I'm just going to wait. We're going to bait him out. Right over here gets a little tricky. The great thing about this is I can stand right inside here, and I could do some work. Oh, I can get broken too. Yeah, you better watch out. One of these still has wind, remember. One of these guys has wind. I think it's this one. Yeah, this one's got wind, so I got to knock him out really quick. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to come over this way. This one's actually going to be really, really cool. Check this out. I'm going to engage. We're going to engage there. We have something called Override, which is an ability specifically to Sigurd. If I use this and click on Override, I'll be then able to use a Brave Lance and override through these guys, which is going to be amazing. When you see their health bar flashing, that means I get and secure the KO. Override goes through multiple opponents. So check this out. Boom, boom, knocked them both out with one attack. Now, how cool is that? Now, unfortunately, that leaves me hanging for this guy right over here. So, yeah, I mean, I'll be fine. I'll take a hit, whatever. I'll get broken one piece. Or we can come over here with our archer. Oh, man, I wish I had enough damage. Yeah, I don't think I do. Longbow is going to be able to do a little bit of hit. Unless I got a crit, but we had a 16% chance to get a crit. All right, what else can we do? I've got my armored unit right over this way. We can attack over here if I really wanted to. Honestly, it's fine. I can absolutely wait. I want to hold on to my javelin because I know one of these guys has a ranged weapon. And if we get broken, we get broken. He's an armored unit. He'll take a hit. Oh yeah, armored units don't get broken. That's great. So anyway, he's going to try to hit me 16, but I dodged out of the way of it. Super awesome. We can see over here that these guys are trying to attack me. Really not a big deal. The cool thing about this is there's a lot of these guys over here. Since I'm bonded with Roy, we've got something called Blazing Lion, which is actually really cool. We're going to do an attack area and set it ablaze. So you can see right here, we're going to do a lot of damage with Blazing Lion. It's going to damage a lot of us, and that entire area right there is going to be literally on fire for when they start their turn, they're going to get owned by it. So, anyway, fascinating, fascinating. You can see the only other characters is this little patch of characters this way, or units here. I can actually do an attack. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. We're going to do a javelin or something else. You can press the R button to change whatever does more damage. I'm going to use Iron Lance. Boom, easy peasy. He's at 19 right now. Doesn't even matter. What I can do now, any other characters? I can do Warp Ragnarok, which is going to be pretty cool. And then blow that guy up. Or we can just not. Like, it doesn't matter. What's cool about this is I got so much movement with Sigurd. He allows me to come all the way this way, but I don't really have a reason to. Like, there's no reason for me to do that. Yeah, Warp Ragnarok really just attacks one character, so this is not going to be the best move. For that, unless I do a Warp Ragnarok in a way that I end up behind Guy. Yeah, that'll actually be pretty decent. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's test it out. Let's do it. So here we go. Warp Ragnarok, we're going to come right over here. We're going to stand directly behind this guy, and I'm going to annihilate him with an attack. Boom! Since he's an armored unit, that's going to be great. It leaves me susceptible to the next hit, which is not that big of a deal. But you can see over here that I've got my healer on board. I really want to be out of harm's way because I really only have like 1 HP. So I don't want to go get hit because I did the great sacrifice. But of course we can stand right here and we can hang out. I could use a staff to use any kind of things. Feel free to do it. Alright, you're done. Great. Easy peasy. This guy, he's not really doing anything and he's too far. There's only 2 enemies left, so we're done. Here we go. So end your turn by clicking on the map and then going to end turn. We'll see over here that all of these characters got their HP down to 1 because they started their turn in flames. The flames can't KO anyone, but it leaves them pretty open. Now is the point where it's like, okay, who needs the most experience? Obviously, Alir is a very, very strong character. We may not want to give her experience, but maybe we want our sniper to be a little bit more experienced along the way. So as you can see over here, coming on board, using any kind of bow, we're going to be able to chip off 1 HP off of this. Boom, done. And now we're going to give that archer that KO experience, which is going to be a lot more. Same thing over here. Who do we want to give experience to? This guy is level 15, and then this one's 13. Or we can fly over here with Sigurd. You're level 15 over here, almost at a level up. Unfortunately, I can't do anything over there, but there are so many different options on what you want to do. So anyway, Let's take a look right over here. I can use an Iron Lance. It's going to be one hit and we're done. Boom. You're all set. So there we go. Almost got the level up. Very, very close. And that, ladies and gents, is an overview of how the game plays. Now, of course, we were a little careless on purpose with our sniper, but since there is the turn wheel that comes back and allows you to redo and rethink your strategy, you're going to be all set and ready to go. Now, there's going to be so many different characters in the game, so many different abilities, so many different bonds that you can create, so many different rings, so many different weapons. It's so massive. This is really just the tip of the iceberg as far as how you're going to battle in the game, but it shows you everything you need to know. Now, also, if you take a look right over here, after you're done in every single battle, you'll be able to see that you're going to be on the battlefield in full-on 3D. There's really only two icons that you want to care about. Is going to be the glowing spots. You can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Easy peasy, we're going to run over that way and pick them up. You can see that they're glowing spot on the ground. Right over there, 150 bond fragments. You do want to pick these up because they might be something worth your while. You can see right on the ground there's going to be something glowing. Very easy to spot. And then you can also see it on the overworld map if you take a look over there at the glowing spot accordingly. So I'm going to pick these up really quick. And I'll show you what the red ones are too. Alright, so moving on this way. Easy, easy. Boom, boom, boom. Steel ingot. Done, done. And then there's one right over here. Cool. Okay, so now taking a look at the red spots, you'll be able to see different animals. Aw, it's going to be a dog. So you can go over here and you can adopt all the animals on the overworld map, provided that you've donated enough money to that specific continent. You may miss out on it, so spend your money on that. I'll go into that a little bit later. But anyway, what do we have here? A little torty cat. Eastern free cat. Love it. Not only is it a free cat, but I just adopted that thing for free. And he's coming home with me. Yay! Great. And then we have one more, which is going to be right near the end. So I'm going to run this way, holding the R button to dash so that we can make our way over there. Talking to characters is not necessarily the best use of time because while you may get some materials from them, you'll get all the materials from them if you just warp out. So really, talking to them is only for flavor text if you want it. Anyway, you can press the menu or you can come over here to depart. Like I said earlier, if you talk to one of them right over here, doesn't matter what they say, you're going to get some bond fragments, just generically. But if you want to circumvent that and shortcut and gain all of them, just literally leave by clicking on depart, go to the Somniel, and then it gives you all of the available bond fragments that were from talking to everyone. So, shortcuts. Easy peasy. All right, so since we're warping over to the Somniel, that's going to be the end of this tutorial. Now, this is going to be a tutorial series that teaches you guys everything you need to know about the game. Now, with that being said, there's an entire thing about the Somniel that I can't wait to tell you about. It's going to be so fun. There's so many things here, so stay tuned for that video. That'll teach you everything you need to know about the Somniel, especially in later game, so that you can prepare yourself to be even stronger for any of these upcoming battles so that you don't lose any of your characters. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Well, there you have it, everyone. Fire Emblem Engage Ultimate Battle Guide. I showed you guys everything that you need to know if you're a beginner or if you're a veteran Fire Emblem player. There's a lot of new concepts in the game, and the outcomes are honestly limitless on who you bring into battle and how you manipulate them in order to get the advantage against your opponents and beat the game. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about it. Let me know what your favorite part about the new battle system is, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.